This is
Helmets
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
All right, welcome in. It is USA Day today as USA takes on Bosnia tonight. So I know the city will be going crazy. I was talking about it on the last game that didn't even matter. Out and about, places were packed and people were going crazy. So tonight in a knockout game, it's definitely going to be wild out there.
I mean, just think about it. I mean, for the United States of America, how exciting it's been for a lot of sports, a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's baseball, hockey, the soccer, you know, people are into it, man. It's fantastic. So, yeah, let's go USA.
Yeah.
Beat the crap out of Bosnia and that other name that they give themselves. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm calling
they
them
just
Bosnia.
came up with recently. I don't know. Yeah, and I mean, you look at it too with 4th of July and celebrating 250 years, and if the USA wins, you know, a couple days before all of that, you got your 250
I got my
shirt
250
on.
shirt on. Yeah. The sleeves are off, so I figured I'd cover up the guns for today, but I got the 250 underneath. Yeah. Happy 4th to everybody.
Yeah, happy
Great
4th of
week
July.
to celebrate.
This is always one of my favorite weeks of the year, just because I have many friends. I mean, if you go out to the beach, you ride bikes, and the First Street's kind of shut down, and every house down that street has stuff going on. My friends always have a big pool party going on, and I know a lot of people aren't really like fireworks people, especially ones who have dogs who are scared. I know Lauren's dog Keaton is terrified of fireworks, so it's probably a struggle for some of those and triggers some people, but I do think a lot of people enjoy it, and kids think it's really cool a lot of times. So there's a lot of cool things when it comes to just cooking out, hanging out, and celebrating America.
You know, we lost, not to start off the show with a bad tone, but we lost a puppy on July 3rd, we think, from a firework.
Really?
She was outside.
Just from being...
Got out of the gate and took off, and got hit. Unfortunately, she was a year and a half.
Like the firework, you think scared
her, yeah. We weren't home at the time, and she was out back with her brother, and... Out she went. Mac, Mac.
Yeah.
It was his sister, Macy. We had them together. Yeah, but anyway, you got to blow off your fireworks. I get it. I don't get it like 2 days after.
Yeah, we don't have to do it days before and days after.
Just do it. I'm cool.
Until 4 a.m.
I think mortars are awesome. I mean, I used to have a few. You throw them. I mean, when they go up in the air, it's like you're at a real show. I get it, man. It's fun as heck. But, some of those puppies and other creatures, they just don't like that stuff. I get it. But it is a great time to celebrate.
We just saw England take down Congo. It was Congo was leading for a long time in this game. I think over into the 62nd minute, third minute, something like that. Harry Kane ended up heading the first one to tie it, and then a little bit later, just a rocket of a goal.
Holy cow!
After that, and so England goes on,
and where he put it,
will face Mexico in Mexico City, I believe. So that one's going to be wild. England and Mexico,
no doubt. That'll be a great one. I mean, Kane, that second one, I only saw the second one. Man, he put it up so high on there was no way the goalie was going to get that.
And the goalie, honestly, that Congo goalie, we were talking about him for the whole first half. He was insane. He was stopping everything.
Good.
And then sometimes that ends up happening. I mean, even in hockey, when you watch a lot of hockey, you notice that it starts to get nerve-wracking once there's like 25 shots on goal. You're like, man, the goalie's crushing. But at some point, it starts to get worn down a little
absolutely.
bit.
All that quick flinching and moving around. This is every 4 years, right? So you lose. It's a big, man.
Yeah, it's not like you just next year.
No, right. Now, you do. Does a lot of them stay together because they still play other whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask about a lot of these. They all go to a lot of their premier leagues that they play for and stuff like that. I know Harry Kane, I guess, because I was actually asking about this. He used to play for England, I guess plays for Germany now, and set who now is playing for England, obviously, for this, and has 6 goals or 5 goals in the tournament so far. So he's been crushing it, but he did play for England, and now he plays for Germany, and he broke all these records in Germany playing there. And so they play soccer pretty much year round. From what I believe. It's just you don't have this. You don't have it'd be like having the Super Bowl only every 4 years.
No, right. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So,
it's like the Olympics. You got to wait, you got to train, you got to re-dream it up and re-go after it and start from scratch and all that. So it's a big deal to win.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal to lose.
Well, and the crazy thing, I heard JJ talking about Mbappe, who has 6 goals so far through the World Cup this year, but he's only a goal away from tying Messi in World Cup.
That's the guy from France.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's insane.
He had 2 yesterday, right? Was that earlier today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
He was unbelievable. He puts it in the same. He put it in the same spot, right?
At the top corner.
At the right side too. Yeah, because he's right-footed. right? Yeah, he's right-footed. He turns because he shot it from the left, but he kicked him over to the.
Oh yeah,
like, hey, goalie, didn't you see that on tape?
You have to
Go left.
Prepare for those things. But he, JJ was talking about how he has. Yeah, so it's almost, I think he's one goal away from Messi, but he's only like 27 years old. He's played in 3 World Cups, which means when he was like 19, he was playing in his first World Cup. Yeah. And he was just one of those prodigy soccer players, and he's lived up to the hype for sure. All the stars are playing well when you talk about Messi and Harry Kane and Mbappe and Pulisic when he had the injury. So you haven't seen like the full of what Pulisic is, but that first game he played really well. So the stars are playing well, and Haaland, obviously, another one too. He had a goal, but so we'll keep you updated on some of the World Cup stuff. I know tonight Hacker will be live at Twin Peaks for a live broadcast / watch party show. So head out, hang out with him. I know they have ultra specials going on, and the game will be the game will be on, the sound will be on, everyone will be having a blast. So go hang out with Hacker, say hello, and hopefully watch USA win.
Yeah, have fun out there.
Yeah, be safe. Yes. And so I want to talk a little bit more, get into some Jaguars talk, Tommy. There's a lot of things leading up to camp that are going to be conversational points. And a lot of it is just kind of some of the expectations coming out of last year. What is most likely or what do you think is most viable to be able to continue on this next season? And I think there's a lot of ways we can go with that. But there are some expectations of certain things that you need to continue on from last year to this next year for success. And it was interesting when we did crosstalk yesterday with Hayes Carline, and he was talking about his biggest what if being those interceptions. And he's like, you're not going to count on having another 30 or whatever it was, because
high 20s,
it's hard to.
30s.
I want to say it was 30 because I think the Bears had 31 and they had 30. It was really close, something like that. Yep. But you can't expect that. It really is hard to replicate that high of a number of interceptions. But Hayes' point was kind of, but you want to still get. You don't want it to all of a sudden you only have 10. And because the year before they had the fewest amount of interceptions in the league, this last year they had the second most. So you want there to be some balance, because that is a big part of what we saw work this last season. When you needed a big game-changing takeaway, the defense came and did that and gave the ball back to the offense and gave them more opportunities to score. So I think that's a good one in the sense of maybe not saying you need 30, but I do think if you it's easy to ask, or it's makes sense to ask for at least around 20, like stay in that range. And because you feel like this defense, it's what Coach Camp preaches.
Yeah, and then you got a good balance of your pressure in the QB. You know, you should have more takeaways with more, affecting the quarterback, not just pressures. I hate saying that word because then people are like, oh, just pressure. No, I mean actually hitting the QB, really affecting, his play from the, from the backfield. I think as far as I'm going to say they're going to stop the run again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Lloyd was really good against the run. You can say whatever you want in the pass. I defend him in the pass a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah.
Against
but Devon
the run.
and Eric and Josh and Trayvon, they're all good at stopping the run.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very much so. And Foye, he's a great tackler. He's always around the football. I think between Miller and Combs, I haven't seen Combs enough play the run. I have with Ventrell. I mean, look, he's a good suited will linebacker that's going to be covered up, that you're going to rely on his speed, getting out in the open field, sideline to sideline, that kind of thing. Blitz him when appropriate, let him cover, nickel, that type of thing. You know what I mean? So I don't think they'll miss Lloyd a ton in that. The one thing about him, he was very physical. Yeah. And Ventrell can hit. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he can't hit. I mean,
Lloyd's instincts obviously were really good too.
Very good against the run. He was always, in my book, he was always near or at the ball carrier in the running game. But with that being said, you get a healthy Eric Armstead. Devon Hamilton had his best years at Jaguar. You bring in two other defensive tackles that you're expecting to be in the rotation. You do miss Lloyd, but you got Foye. You got a veteran that's played. It's not like he hasn't played. Yeah. I believe in Gardeck as your Sam. I don't think that's a win-win, for us. So, but I would expect them to stop the run. Like they did last year.
Yeah, that was number one on my list too. I think that's the most obvious because that was one of the from start to finish last year. One of the things that they were best at, and not just one of their best traits, but across the league, they were one of the best run defenses, and they did it throughout the season. So that's something that they were able to count on. And it's not like, to your point, you did lose Lloyd, but all of those guys up front, you have back, and honestly, you have healthy. And that's even makes probably a bigger difference.
Per game, they were top of the line.
Yeah.
Right? They were top per carry. And then it crept up on them a little. So, and it wasn't a big deal, but it was giving up here, giving up there.
That?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. Look, they ended up at 3.9, 4.0. That's really good. I mean, trying to beat 4. Anything under 4 yards a carry. You know, I mean, you're really trying to get like, in the 3s, because then you can hold them to, it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 4, instead of 3rd and 1. That kind of thing. But I think they'll be very strong against the run.
Would you put Trevor Lawrence in this category where you would expect those final 6-7 games, that to be a continuation this season?
I expect it. Yeah. Will it happen? I think it will. I think eventually it will. Yeah. I hope it does right away. Look, when you know what you're doing out there, I don't care what position, you're gonna play better because you're not thinking. And listen, when you're thinking, you're not full speed in everything. Yeah. You're thinking too much. It's like you can't perform. Well,
because when you're constantly having to be like, okay, my feet have to do this, and my hips have to do this, and my arm has to do this. Oh, and then I have to get these play calls in, and I have to break down the huddle, and then you have to get lined up, and then they're lined up wrong. So all of these things that happened early unraveled. Yeah.
Right. So when he gets that, and I think he's got it down, or at least he showed at the end of the year, that's more than half the battle. So I would expect him to really just pick up where he left off. But, I got to see it too. Yeah.
Because we've seen those half seasons before from him. And so I do think that's one of the bigger, this needs to happen. You're in year 5 of your NFL career. It's time and if it felt like, which it looked from those last 5-6 weeks, everything clicked. That's what it felt like for Trevor. It felt like it was the first time I ever watched where I was like, this is his offense 100%. He's fully in control of everything that's going on. And you definitely want to. And sometimes, we see even the best of the best quarterbacks that take a few weeks once the season starts and to really get going. But you want to see it quicker this year. You don't want to be an week 8-9 talking about illegal formations and false starts and overthrows. You want that to kind of catch on a little quicker than it has.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've said it many a times. The defense cost them the Bills game, in my opinion. That Trevor gave them a lead multiple times. You're supposed to hold the lead in fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What happened with Trevor's in that game, though, he regressed into what? One was not seeing the safety.
Yeah.
And then 2 at the end of the game, why you'd throw it in the middle of the field? Like you're like, go to the outside. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got time.
His feet were getting kind of happy at times too, which we hadn't seen in a while.
Right. So he regressed a little bit in that, but it wasn't, he did lead them back to multiple leads. So I can't blame it on him. But if he can clean that up and not revert back to that, you know what I mean? Then he should have a great year.
All right, we'll continue this conversation. Some of those things, what from the 2025 season we're most confident about, will continue over into the 2026 season. So we talked about run defense and Trevor so far. We'll continue that on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Jacksonville, a community determined to win an NFL franchise. A special addition to the National Football League.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated ViStar Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids around the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Everybody's doing it. ET's doing it. You know I'm doing it. Our business manager's doing it. I know our listeners are doing it. Listen up. St. Augustine Grass homeowners, topdressing.com season is here. Michelle did it 4 weeks ago, and now she's saying, my grass kicks ass. Her words, not mine. But it's worth it, man. I came back from vacation this summer, and the lawn is looking lush green just like Ireland. Get to topdressing.com today or call 888-850-1850 for your free estimate. Topdressing.com.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Join Sporting News Jacksonville correspondent Pete Prisco for NFL News and Notes.
Of course.
Thursday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Frank Frangie and Hayes Carline. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here with Coach Delaney from Coil Fencing. You've been building winning teams at Fletcher for years. How does that correlate with installing fences here in Northeast Florida?
Well, Frank, at Coil Fencing, we like to take the coach approach. Implement a game plan and execute it on the field. That's been our winning recipe for 99 years.
And you tackle more than fences, right?
Absolutely. We also service and install automatic gates, perfect for multifamily communities, your business, or residents.
The best defense is a good offense. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Prosser here. Who are you? Really? 1010XL wants to know. Just by filling out the listener survey on 1010XL.com, you could win Jags tickets to the home opener, Gator football tickets, Jumbo Shrimp tickets, and more. All you have to do is tell us more about you. Fill out the 1010 listener survey at 1010XL.com. What kind of vehicles do you drive? Are you a business owner? What part of 1010XL do you like the most? We want to get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010XL.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
Checkmate. I'm Braden Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate King.
The two most important factors behind a great garage floor coating are the preparation and the application.
So we prepare every floor with high-performance diamond grinding pads. But just ugly diamonds, right, Brendan? If we find any nice ones, I could use some crown jewels.
Sorry, Chester. Our special grinding pads use diamonds that are too ugly for jewelry.
But they create the perfect surface to bind with our multi-layer polymer coating for years of durable performance.
You'll have to pick out jewelry on your own time, Your Highness.
The term is Your Majesty, Brendan, but I'll let it go this time.
Perfect preparation?
Check. Expert application?
Check. A gorgeous new floor that sparkles like a diamond in your garage? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Into Helmets and Heels. Tom McManus here, Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here, Lauren Brooks enjoying her final day of vacation before she's back tomorrow, and then you head off to Orlando, Tommy, to enjoy a long weekend, watch your daughter dance, enjoy the 4th of July. A lot of stuff for you this week.
Listen to AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long way to top if you want to rock and roll. Yeah, we're going to watch the youngest Lioness compete, man. She was at the Nationals up in Chicago. They're there.
Yeah.
Yep. She starts right away.
Yeah.
They're doing auditions and rehearsals and classes. And, the teachers are like, well known around the world as dance people.
Yeah.
I can't name them. Even if I did, most people would be like,
I wouldn't either,
but very
my
talented.
sister-in-law danced her whole life. She'd probably know.
And my Kelsey's involved too, so she'll go in there and she'll dance too. And used to work for the company that does this, the big dance company. So this is their national thing, and she finished top 10 last year, my youngest. So she's gonna go for it again. Of course, they gave her the She's like, Dad, really? Like, yes, of course. I gotta give it to you. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then they'll It's at the Gaylord Palms, so it's
nice.
the convention type. You don't have to leave, so that's nice.
Everything's just in one place.
Right there.
Yeah, that's nice.
They'll have fireworks, I'm sure. You'll be at least
It'll be a good
see
time.
something. Yeah, it's all good.
And it's not
too
far of a travel, so that's also a nice
and it's
part of it.
competition.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's put a lot of effort.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just,
They
so she's
work
doing
their butts off.
2 separate solos
Okay.
that Kelsey choreographed for it. So
I
it's
love that.
it's gonna
Sister.
be a fun thing. So
That'll be
for
a
both
blast.
of
Well,
them.
good luck.
Yeah.
We've
you.
got some. We just mentioned that last night Mexico beat Ecuador 2-0. It was their first time getting past this round, the stage of 32 since 1986. So if you've seen any of the videos of Mexico City right now, absolutely wild. They're celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
England just beat Congo. We saw France beat Sweden yesterday, and Norway beat Ivory Coast. We've got Belgium and Senegal coming up at 4:00, and then USA Bosnia tonight at 8:00. I'm sure everywhere will be packed and ready to watch that. But I want to continue on some of this conversation with the Jags when we talk about the things that the things from the 2025 season we're most confident will continue in 2026. You mentioned the run defense. I think that is probably the most obvious because I do think it was the most consistent from start to finish last year.
Sure.
You talked about maybe towards the end some of those injuries maybe factored into some stuff. But we'll see what it looks like with Devin Lloyd in that linebacker room. But outside of that, it feels like you have a lot of guys up front that can stop the run. And that's one of the things that they definitely lean into in this Coach Camp defense. And so another one for me, I'm just going to say this feels like another obvious too, and that's Liam Cohen's play calling. I know we have this we've talked a lot of, people have film on this now. And so they're going to be able to try and scheme up some of these defenses to stop what worked the best for the Jaguars this last season. But I think what we saw is Liam Cohen, and I think he also probably learned some things down the stretch too when it came to going for it on the 4th down and maybe not running the ball in the second half. Maybe some of those things I do think that maybe we'll see get switched up. I also don't even think we saw that playbook fully opened last year. And so I'm expecting even more and another step from Liam Cohen in that play calling.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, I think Liam's one of the more innovative guys out there. I think his team collectively, he's got the run game coordinator, the pass game coordinators and all that. They come together. Grant's involved in that, the quarterback coach, everything, what Trevor's comfortable with. But, yeah, he gets his guys open. I expect to get them open. It'll be interesting, though, in year 2. I'm interested to see how they're going to try to defend him. If you go back in Doug's first year with Trevor, where Trevor had a remarkable year, 25 touchdowns, I think 8 picks, was on point. It was a lot of first read.
Yeah.
Like, get him open, first read,
It was like over 70% first read.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then what happened? Teams started sitting on those, and then they adapted, of course. So we saw that in the playoff game against the Chargers in the second half. And then you have to readapt. So my point is, see how they had to adapt to that? Yeah. Well, there's going to have to be something that you're going to have to adapt to. But for the most part, look, that's why he wants the run game to get cleaned up. That's why he wants the run game to be more reliable so he can be that creative type offensive playing caller. One play or two, I can have 13 in there. I can have 12. Then I can go to 11. I can go empty backfield. I can do all types of stuff. If I've got the line in the running game to keep that team off balance. And that's what it is, right? You don't want them guessing what you're doing, and also when you have that balance while you're going through the game, right? You may think going in, our running game is really going to open up the passing game. But what happens if they shut down the run game? Well, then you switch and you say, well, the passing game is going to open up the running game. Yeah. And then you go back and forth. You may go back and forth more than once
but you don't
inside
abandon
the game.
Either of them.
You don't abandon it. But if you have both, that's why the run game's so important. He knows he's got the pass game. He's got the QB. He's got the guys. He's got the targets. He feels like he's got the running game, but he needs that to happen. And if it does, now you got a really balanced offense, which everybody wants.
Yeah, and I do think there's probably going to be a lot of teams that go back and watch the Seahawks and Rams games last year because the Jags scored 12 and 7 points in those 2 games. Outside of that, they were scoring 25 plus in almost every single game. So I'm sure teams are putting on that film and saying, what were these 2 defenses doing to just absolutely suffocate this offense? That after that hit this run where they're scoring 30, 29, 35, 27, 25, 36, 48, 34, 23. You know, so it was one of those situations where, granted, we know Seattle's defense and what they're a top defense in the NFL. The Rams were not. So whatever they were able to scheme up against Liam Cohen in that game really worked. Their secondary, they had to make a lot of moves this offseason. There was teams didn't have any issues scoring on the Rams last year. They just won a lot of games because Matthew Stafford had one of the best best seasons we've seen in a long time. So, but you weren't able. You were only to score one touchdown on that team. So a lot of teams are probably going to go to those two games and say, what did they do to kind of figure out Liam Cohen in those two games? Well, granted, Brenton Strange wasn't playing, I don't think,
and it was a different offense. Yeah. You know, I mean, look, BT was running different routes. Travis just took off in that game with Seattle, right? Yeah. So it all changed, right? Yeah. Then Jacoby came in. And Brian moved outside. Maybe that was the magic, potion that they were
because the drops weren't happening after that. And,
correct. So it did change the offense a little bit. I mean, Liam even said it. What was the best part of Jacoby? Not only just bringing in the professionalism and his superpowers of catching the football, but that was said about him. It allowed Brian Thomas to stay outside and keep that safety out where he plays best. Yeah. And look, we looked at his numbers yesterday. It's not like he blew the doors open, but it allowed
another guy you have to worry about, especially deep.
And allowed Liam to run his offense in those underneath and intermediate areas that he excels in. So, it was perfect.
Well, we saw what Liam did in Tampa, too, and how when you have a Godwin and an Evans, and then you had K-Dot and you have a running game in Bucky that was working really well, too. Yeah. He had Field Stretcher and Amika Buka and like all of those guys. They had weapons there. And so when you talk about the way they could stretch the field and then also have those guys that could go up the middle, and you had so many different things, and I felt like, to your point, bringing Jacoby here opened up that side of the offense that we didn't get to see previous to Jacoby coming. And then you talk about the sure hands and the drops kind of lessened, and not just for Jacoby wasn't dropping, but everyone else seemed to start catching passes when they were dealing with some of those drops, including BT.
Yeah, he had an O-line, though, too. I mean, worse, those guys are beasts. I mean, they were really good. And look, the running game was strong as well. You know who might be the hidden gems? That Brian Picucci, run game coordinator that he just grabbed from Tampa. Yeah. He tried a year before. They said no, and then he got it. I guess after a year you can, and he said yes, and now he's here. So look, we're gonna see how that running game goes. I know there's some pundits out there that are hammering our running back room, like it's the worst in the league. Like, it's not the worst in the league. We don't know what it is yet, though. Yeah. They feel like they do, and that's all that matters right now.
So if you're ranking them, and that's what we can talk about that leading into because Warren Sharp, he ranked the running back rooms throughout the NFL and has the Jaguars down at 30. And so I think part of that is you don't know, because Tootin had not a ton of carries. It was not like
3.7 average. Yeah. That's not that good.
Yeah, you didn't. And it was just a little bit of a roller coaster where you'd see really good runs and then you wouldn't see him for a while. And that was kind of the season. And granted, it was a lot of Travis Etienne. That was what the run game kind of revolved around. But at the same time, and then you have Chris Rodriguez that you brought in here, who, when it comes to, he does get that over 4 yards a carry, but he's been a running back 3. So you just don't really know what he can be. But when you look at the league overall, so he has Atlanta as the best one. They have Bijan Robinson and Brian Robinson. I think that is easy. Bijan we're going to be talking about him for a long time as being one of those tops. And so one of the things that it kind of stuck out to me is these top 8 teams to me are all because they just have the top running backs and the top running backs in the league. It doesn't technically, to me, seem like their RB2s are really good. Okay. But their number 1 is so good that they land at the top. So that's Atlanta with obviously Bijan and Brian. Then we got Detroit with Jahmyr Gibbs. They got Pacheco this offseason after they lost David Montgomery. Buffalo with James Cook and Ty Johnson. Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor and DJ Giddens. Philly with Saquon and Tank. I think that honestly could be a pretty good running back room. Bigsby honestly is another one that gets those 4 yards plus per carry too. I saw this video yesterday of him lifting Bobby Wagner up into the air and carrying him back 2 yards, and it was wild. Tank Bigsby carrying Bobby Wagner backwards.
Well, he's strong. I mean, I don't know. I always when I To me, he got stuffed too much when it was short yardage, But he's got to be doing better up in Philly. I saw that one video of him taking on the blitzer. That was impressive. He's a tough guy,
and he doesn't have to be the guy, so maybe that helps him. Behind that, the Rams with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, San Francisco with McCaffrey and Jordan James, Miami with Achane and Jalen Wright. So that's when you talk about Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Kyron Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and Achane. Those to me are the top running backs in the NFL right now, and they all listed towards the top. And then you get to a list where this one's going to be fascinating this year. Arizona, they drafted Jeremiah Love, obviously, and they signed Tyler Algier in the offseason. That, I think, could be a really good run game if Jeremiah Love is anywhere close to what he did in college at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to have the lead horse.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go by – what's funny is – I would just go by committee. Like, how many successful running attacks in the NFL have gone by? Some have.
Yeah.
I mean,
not many, honestly.
Many,
and
this
list shows that.
You need your lead horse. You need your guy. You need your workhorse that's going to carry the ball 90% of the time. And then there are 85%. The other 15 are just third down backs. Give your guy a break, that kind of stuff. But you want the lead horse.
And that's one of the things that stuck out to me on this list, Tommy. I was looking for those teams that have two really good backs, or a great and a good, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's not many. There's only like 4 or 5 that I would go to and be like, man, they're 1 and 2 are really good. So that is, to your point, it's interesting. Detroit did it with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, but then now they're like, well, we're good with just Jahmyr Gibbs. So we'll trade away David Montgomery. So you don't see a lot of those committee running backs anymore. You'll see Ben Johnson with Chicago last year was mainly DeAndre Swift, and Kyle Monangai got a decent amount of carries down the stretch, but I wouldn't even say that was very even. It was DeAndre Swift's offense, and then behind that, Monangai more of that pound guy when you really need that short yardage. And so going through, just looking at the AFC South, obviously I mentioned Indianapolis at number 4 with Jonathan Taylor and DJ Giddens. That makes sense. Jonathan Taylor being one of the best backs in the league. And then if you keep scrolling down, you've got Tennessee at 25 with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears.
Yeah,
that one's kind of interesting.
That's a good combo.
I like Tony Pollard actually a lot. I think a lot more than people in the league. But I'm like, almost every single year he has 1,000 yards, and it's really quiet 1,000 yards, but he does it. So they have them at 25 though.
And a good clip too. He's not like 3 yards. He's more like 4 or 5 in that range.
4. Houston, they have at 27 with David Montgomery and Woody Marks. That one I think also could surprise some people, but we will see. And then I mentioned they have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 30th with Bashal Tutin and Chris Rodriguez. The interesting part behind them is Seattle. They have Seattle at 31st, which I guess makes a little bit of sense. You just lost Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet's hurt. You don't even know when he's going to be healthy, how healthy he's going to be. And then behind that, it's Jadarian Price, which they used a first-round pick on. And so I think people are high on Price, but is that enough to get that room after what Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet were able to do last year?
Yeah, those guys, that was a 1-2 punch for sure. And look, you can get, if you got a pounder and then a speedster, that works great together, And I know Pollard and Spears are a little similar in terms of how they run, but Spears is really good in space. He's a good offset back to Tony Pollard.
Yeah. Vegas, I think, will be interesting. Ashton Genty and Mike Washington. They drafted the Mike Washington kid this year.
I liked him.
Me too.
Yeah, big
so
kid.
That one I think is one to keep an eye on. Vegas in general. I mean, if Mendoza comes out and plays well, you've got Brock Bowers, and you got some weapons. Obviously, Max Crosby and some of the stuff they've done defensively, and then they bulk up that offensive line, pay linemen a lot of money, and then you've got running backs, and so it could be a team that surprises some people. When I'm sure we get closer to the season and we talk about some of those. So we'll get to Tommy's take coming up here on the other side. So where we head with that. That's coming up right here on Helmets and Heels.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios, polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This feeling is brought to you by Aleve for back pain relief. What feeling is that, you ask? Well, it's the feeling you feel when you have relief from back pain. That move how you want to, not how you have to feeling. That keep going through your day without slowing down feeling. The kind that brings you back to yourself all day long without interruption. Oh, yeah. Because Aleve offers long-lasting pain relief. Feel up to 12 hours of back pain relief with one dose. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company is hiring for an estimator. Are you a motivated, customer-focused professional who enjoys working with people and doing things the right way? We want to hear from you. Send your resume to JCW Roof at jcwroof.com or call 904-396-1546. Family owned and operated since 1946. Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company, the first name in Jacksonville roofing.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Looking for a real career with great pay and full benefits? Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. As a growing, family-owned company that cares about its employees, they're hiring lawn technicians in the Jacksonville area. No experience required. This is a salaried position with top industry pay. Full benefits, a 401k match, and paid training. Apply today at JulingtonCreekPestControl.com. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hacker here. 4th of July week is here, which means America's celebrating the way it should. Fireworks, cookouts, and cold drinks. But I want to know this. Did you take Awaken 180 up on Lose 40 by the 4th? Because people did. Listeners did. Greg and Sales did. And the guy is just a few pounds away from dropping 40. That's not a commercial number. That's a walk into the cookout and people start asking questions number. I know the feeling. I lost 120 pounds with Awaken 180. My first 40 came off in just weeks. And I dropped all my prescription medication as well. So if you missed the deadline, fine. Don't go hide behind a paper plate and call it a year. Pick the next one. August, Labor Day, your beach trip, whatever gets you moving. Awaken 180 gives you the food, the plan, the coaching, and the support to actually finish the job. Have questions? Ask them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make sure your property is ready. Weak, damaged, or overgrown trees can become a serious hazard when storms move in. Trust the experts at Lucas Tree Service with over 45 years of experience for professional tree trimming, removal, and storm preparation. Don't wait until a storm is on its way. Schedule your tree assessment today at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
We just saw some Johnny Manziel getting a little fiery on Twitter right now. Johnny, a lot of these words I cannot say over air, but I guess there was some up at ESPN Cleveland. Yeah, somebody was responding to something Johnny Manziel said, and he said, "What did anyone do to you except for root for you to win?" And Johnny Manziel goes on to call this guy some names. He also goes on to talk about how the comments that this guy's responding to were made in October of last year. But he said, "But of course, you're bored." Another word I can't say on air. And the Cleveland media have nothing to do but speak about because your quarterback stopped banging massage therapists, and you can only speak about losing so much to all the people that listen to this trash show. My tenure in Cleveland was doomed by a lot more than just me. And he goes on and on about a lot of stuff. So they got Manziel pretty fired up.
Well, it feels like
media.
people are going after Johnny lately. I don't know why. Did he say something controversial?
That's what he's responding to something. So he must have made some comment about the Browns organization, and now people feel like they have to defend that. Which I mean, it's been bad. It's been a very bad organization making every single year they're kind of the laughing stock of what mistakes. And look, we've had the time here in Jacksonville where it is certain things where it just looks like a mess and you're not winning football games. But this team, I feel like every single year it's something when you're talking about drama when it doesn't have to do with an actual football game. Going back to last year with drafting the way they drafted the quarterbacks.
With Johnny, listen, man, he was a phenomenal college player.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly. when he went into Bama and beat Bama, that in their heyday, like that was like that made like what he threw it all around. I mean, he threw it all over the place. But he
always had spunk and personality. That's one thing about Johnny.
And I'm sure, listen,
Johnny football.
Till you walk in someone's shoes, you should stay out of them. You don't know. I mean, from the outside, you're like, yeah, he was brass. You know, he was probably pretty cocky. You know, he's probably in Vegas way too much with the strippers and stuff. You know what I mean? He's partying probably too much. Probably should have been concentrated on
he probably
on the
wishes
game.
he was playing in the NIL
today,
era. I tell you
or
that.
playing in the NFL today. Might have better suited his style. But nonetheless, whatever. He's got a Heisman Trophy winner. Not many can say that.
Yep, definitely
That's
not.
for sure.
All right, let's get to Tommy's take.
Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my take on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. I'm going to give some props to Brendan Sorsby, okay? Because he informed the NFL, the NFLPA, and Brendan Sorsby there'll be no further litigation regarding his entry into the NFL, and instead he will focus on preparation for entry into the league via the 2027 NFL draft. Not much he can do, but that's all you can do, son. So put your head down. Don't worry about it. I'm sure you got some money hopefully saved or left over. Maybe you won some gambling bets. I don't know. That can tie you over for now. You might be able to get a sponsor out of the deal, I'm sure, and get ready for 2027. Hey, who knows what can happen? You won't be the the first story where someone had to start from scratch, from the bottom or whatever you want to call it, and make themselves into a superstar. So I just thought because I gave the kids some grief earlier, and I want to look at him now and just say, look, good move. It looks like you grew up a little bit. Maybe that was your only path. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you could have done something else. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're going to get ready for the 2027 draft, and I wish you the best of luck. And that's my take today, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, ForThePeople.com, or on your cell at Pound Law. That's all.
Yeah, a few things from Albert Breer yesterday, shortly after he announced that, kind of put out this press release apology. But he said, as part of the NFL's settlement with Brendan Sorsby, the matter is closed for 2026, and Sorsby will not sue. The NFL won't discipline him for known prior misconduct. The NFL reserves the right to take prior misconduct into consideration if he has issues again with gambling.
If he has issues again, yep. So keep it clean, buddy. Keep it clean, or just don't get caught.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that in today's day.
I mean, we talked about it that one day too, where I'm like, the NFL, you are allowed to gamble.
Right.
So I feel like the way he worded it is, if I didn't get caught, I wouldn't have realized I had this problem. So in a way, probably good that maybe he goes and gets help and tries to fix the situation. But if he is able to keep it under control, you just do it the right way, and you can not get in trouble in the NFL. You just can't do that in college football.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. You broke the rules, and you're paying for it, and you're taking your medicine. Sometimes you just got to take your medicine. It sucks.
Yeah.
It does. I don't know if I ever told you this before, but I got in trouble in 8th grade. I missed a very important football game. You know why? Because I got caught giving the finger to the band teacher who yelled at me and my friends because we were too loud during band practice.
Oh.
And when he turned his back, and I didn't only just give him the finger, I gave him the whole by dying guy. You know what I'm talking about? The whole forearm and everything.
Yep.
Well, his son was looking at us in the class, looking at us with we were a bunch of 8th grade trying to set up some tables. We were too loud, and he yelled at us, and I did the thing, and next thing you know, I'm down in trouble, and I got suspended for this big game. St. Eulalia, downtown, tough neighborhood. And what brought me to thinking of this, Brendan Sorsby, Brendan Kelly is my oldest and my best friend growing up, right? We were birthday a day apart, both really good athletes. He's an attorney now, really, whatever. But we would, go at it and whatnot. And I forgot what I was talking about for a second there, but help me out.
You gave him the finger.
Oh, I gave him the finger. Yeah. So anyway, Brendan, my best friend at the game, he gets hurt.
Oh no!
And gets put on they had to tape his head to the stretcher and bring him to the hospital. He ended up being fine. Oh, and I was so mad because I'm on the street. No, I was there. Oh. They made me stand on the sideline in street clothes and watch. Oh, and we won the game, but it didn't matter. My best friend was really hurt. Now he ended up being fine.
Thank goodness.
But it's like those are you had to. Okay, what are you gonna do? I mean, I shouldn't have given him. I don't think he should have yelled at us the way he did, but whatever. He was in authority, and I wasn't. and I probably shouldn't have done that, and I paid my dues now. Yeah. So, sometimes you just got to take that.
And
sometimes I think Brendan is.
Some people, I think, need that too. Once you see that little bit of trouble and they're like, okay, I've got to get this together. I've got to actually work on this. If I want a place of wherever, whether it's in a workplace that you on a normal basis or if it's a sports team or it's whatever it may be, sometimes you need that little bit of extra structure and discipline to
Everybody
realize
gets a second chance, sometimes third. Just you can't go back to the old ways. You got to steer clear and move forward.
All right, we'll get to Taylor's Tangent on the other side. That's coming up right here next on Helmets and Heels.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman.
I'm John Fox.
This is Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta on 1010XL.
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 92.5 FM.
What band was Peter Frampton in before he went solo? The answer coming up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The name of Peter Frampton's first band was called Humble Pie.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for a remix on the original Chick-fil-A sandwich? The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back for a limited time only this summer. It's a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite created with a Chick-fil-A chicken, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese. This sandwich combines the favorite flavors with a new twist, and it's available for just a limited time, so stop by and enjoy the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich at Chick-fil-A today.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Have you tried a Form energy drink yet? You need to, and it's available at Gate. 4 great tastes, Screamin' Free to Blue Blitz, Orange Fury, and Grape Smash. Form Energy, natural flavors, natural caffeine, and electrolytes for hydration are a perfect blend for energy and mental focus. Find it at Gate.
Pickin' here, or maybe you should call me Dreamfinders Danny. Look what Dreamfinders is doing again, an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Honda always has cool stuff, Greg. But talk about the side-by-side of what Pioneer has.
I tell you, the all-new Pioneer, which is their flagship model, all redesigned this year, comes with a cab for heat and AC, so if you want to stay a little cool on those hot summer days when you're out riding, this is the ticket.
And you can have the stereo, full sound.
You name it, we got it. Wheels, tires, stereos, lights, heat and AC, we're your people.
Go check it out in the showroom. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey for DraftKings, which is now live in all 50 states. Of course, that means you, Florida, win or go home. That's it. That's the World Cup knockout round. And DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now live in Florida, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or maybe the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in Florida, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1010XL, spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. That's code 1010XL in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC-registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
We were talking a little baseball on break. The Cubs are hot again. It's been fun. It was a long month of just a lot of losing, and then now they've won 14 of 18. They're already winning 3-0 again. Probably looking towards sweeping the Padres, so that'll be nice. They won 2 of 3 against the Brewers, 4-game sweep against the Mets, so it's been pretty fun again, but some other teams getting hot, and then others falling apart. The Atlanta Braves were the hottest team in baseball for like 2.5 months, and then now they just can't quite figure it out. And that's
7.
Baseball's a long season, and so when you start, we freak out, and it is what it is. I sent a little meme to Jeff Prosser the other day because it was and I think I read it on here, but it was talking about how baseball season's 162 games long, and fans of their team are just angry or like furious the entire year, and that's pretty much what it is to be a baseball
look
fan.
at the Cubs alone. I mean, now they're in second place in the Central. They were last, not that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, because we check it every so often.
We were first, and we dropped from first to last in like 5 days, and then now we're back to 5.5 back from the Brewers in second, and the sixth best record in baseball, I think it is right now. So you'll take that when you have a big slump where your entire team hits a slump and you lose all your pitchers, and you can still stay in that within that range of a top 10 team in the league. That's what you want to do, but
got to finish strong.
Yeah,
gotta
and that's what. Yeah, honestly, sometimes you hit that slump early. You don't want to hit that slump in
late.
Yeah, you don't want to hit it in August and September. So hopefully we got it out of our system. But now let's get to Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So it's bold take season, Tommy. This is when a lot of people, a year ago, we were actually doing our bold takes of what we thought about this upcoming season. And one of mine was that Travis Etienne was going to have this resurgence, and he was going to get paid a lot of money in the offseason, and that ended up working. Not all my bold takes always end up working, but that was one of the ones that ended up panning out pretty well. And so we see these around the league. Everybody makes their list of things that they think may or may not happen, and sometimes just bold takes, sometimes just predictions. And so we looked at ESPN had an article posted. Ben Solik posted it today, and so some interesting things coming out of here. So I wanted to discuss some of these. The first one he has on this list is Myles Garrett will hit 20 sacks. I don't think anybody would be surprised if on the LA Rams Myles Garrett has a 20 sack season.
No, not at all. I mean, you got some other rushers on that team. I bet you it's 15 plus.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 17 plus, but 20's hard to get.
It is hard to get.
I mean, I love how they throw out 20. It's bold, so you got to be bold, right? But
you can't say 16 because that feels way too doable.
Yeah, you know he's going to get that. You'd think anyway.
Because when you talk about, I accidentally clicked. I was going to look at his numbers and I clicked Myles Jack instead of Myles Garrett. But so that's one of the things you have to go a little extreme with your bold takes because you want them to seem like you're making some big prediction. But he had 23 last year, 14, 14, 16, 16, 12, 10, 13 and a half for his last several years of sacks. So he's hit 14 or more in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight seasons.
That's incredible.
I know.
He is incredible.
I know.
There's no doubt about it. I think a bold take for our guys, I think you said it, 30 sacks between the two, right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty bold.
Yeah.
You know, especially
between Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon.
And Trayvon, right? I mean,
I think Leon said 30. I said
Leon
25.
did, right. Yeah, right.
So 30, I think, is the bold. I think 25 you almost expect.
Right. It's funny because, what was it, 2 years ago, I made a comment because Baselli's like, oh, they'll get 25 sacks. I'm like, he's been doing that Hayahuska with Aaron Rodgers.
No, was that the year that?
And then they did it.
Well, Josh got the 17 that year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Right? Yeah,
17
with the
and
10,
a half that
and then
year,
we had 10 and a half for, so I had to
You're like, okay,
take
maybe
a little
you
medicine
weren't
on that one, speaking of which, I was wrong. But listen, you expect that, especially now that they're in that tier of how they get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to answer the bell
your
when
pass
you get paid
rushers,
like
you
that.
want to, and that's what part of it. What gets attached to your name when you get paid with the group of the highest pass rushers in the league is getting to the quarterback and getting the quarterback on the ground, and that's. We know the pressures, and we know you can affect the quarterback in other ways, and you can make him uncomfortable in the pocket. And we see guys like Max Crosby, who didn't have a crazy amount of sacks last year, affect the quarterback in other ways. 10,
though.
Yeah, and you hit that double digit. That's what you'd expect at a minimum from both of these guys. Yeah. Another one he has on his list is Dak Prescott will become the 10th quarterback to throw for 5,000 yards in a season. Yeah. That one we were just talking about yesterday, how we just don't see that anymore in offenses when it comes to those quarterbacks hitting 5,000 yards. But Dak's always up there in high 4,000s when he's healthy. And so you stay healthy. And I feel like that's a bold take, but I don't think it's totally out of this realm, I guess. But I feel like we had the stat the other day, too, about the most clutch quarterbacks. And Dak was actually in that category, which surprised us a little bit when it comes to some of those numbers. But interesting stuff when it comes to Dak Prescott and what the Dallas Cowboys will look like.
Well, look, 5,000 yards is like 294.3 yards a game. Yep. So Dak should be,
the
that's
last
what
person to do it, by the way, was Patrick Mahomes in 2022.
Yeah.
So we've had 24.
I think yards are overrated.
I know, me
when
too.
do you get them? How do you get them?
So it's been 3 seasons since the quarterbacks even hit that. Before that, Tom Brady did it in 21, and Herbert did it in 21. Winston did it in 2019. Roethlisberger in 2018. Before that, there was a little gap. Breeze in 2016. And so it's not like it's an easy task to do because the list isn't very long of those guys that surpassed 5,000, especially the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, you look at, you throw around 294 or 300 yards a game. That's not easy to do, especially in today's game.
Another one, the Chiefs will miss the playoffs again, is one of his bold takes he has in this. Last year, they weren't playing great anyways. There was the beginning of the season. That's why a lot of people didn't credit the Jags win over the Chiefs so much because they were like, the team's really beat up and they're not playing very good football at this point in time. And then you go on and you lose Patrick Mahomes. You're at the tail end of Travis Kelce's career. All of this stuff with Rashee Rice, who even knows, there's that drama off the field. You saw moments last year. Chris Jones is obviously still an absolute dominant freak of nature, but there's moments where you kind of see him
takes time off,
lollygagging a little bit. So are they on that tail end of all their winning because the offensive line has struggled the last couple years too? They haven't really been able to fix that. Pacheco's out the door, so it'll be.
Well, listen, I know this. Here's my bold take that I know Travis Kelce's allegedly getting married this weekend. Okay, last year he did, although. Stat-wise, you're like, well, that's a pretty good year. What he had, 900,
30 or 40,
and then 10 touchdowns. So he had a lot of touchdowns, but he didn't seem like himself. I thought he was thinking about Taylor Swift a little bit too much, if you know what I mean. So if he can get focused, can the other guys get focused? They had Kenneth Walker the third. He's at home. He's a great running back. They've missed on O-line, like the Juwan. No disrespect to Juwan, but geez, did they miss on him?
They've been missing on a lot of offensive linemen.
Tooney leaving, that hurt him up
big
front.
time.
He's a great offensive lineman. Bears got him. So can they get back? I think it comes down to Mahomes and Kelce reliving that magic that maybe spreads to the rest of them.
Yeah.
But if not, if he comes back fat and happy, I felt he was a little fat and happy.
Yeah.
He looked slow last year.
Maybe
just
you're stressed from planning a wedding, so you're
maybe or chasing her around the world, watching her perform.
All her world tours that she's
private
doing.
jet and all, but still, it does wear on you, I guess.
One of the other ones on here that relate a little bit to the Jaguars here in the AFC South is the Texans will win the AFC. He has on here. He does have a disclaimer saying, I reserve the right to change this prediction before week 1 as we get more news about Denver quarterback Bo Nix's ankle and health. The Broncos roster is so good. So pretty much the Texans win the AFC unless Bo Nix is healthy and ready to go right away. It seems like he'd probably pivot towards picking the Broncos winning the AFC. But some of the notes he said on that feels like many people are selling Texan stock for C.J. Stroud's playoff disaster class in 2025. And I'm happy to scoop it all up on a discount. Stroud's 2 postseason games against the Steelers and Patriots were the worst ball we've ever seen him play. Were they his only postseason performance, perhaps we could theorize that he's a playoff choker, but he was a totally acceptable quarterback in his 4 playoff games prior to 2025. This is an example of the correct explanation being the simplest one. Stroud coming off a concussion in his first year of Nick Caley offense and playing in inclement weather. He was trying to do too much. He had 10 giveaways during that time. So pretty much saying second year under this offensive system, and Stroud's more like not that mistake-driven Stroud that we saw in this postseason, and is how he feels. So that's something we don't really want to hear. But I also get why that roster is really good. They have one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the NFL. They put a lot of resources into their offensive line and added a running back, and they're hoping that those things kind of come all together.
Yeah, I mean, look, they went with physical offensive linemen, good offensive linemen. You know, Braden Smith's a good tackle, man. Coming from the Indianapolis Colts. Wyatt Teller's a physical guy, you know, and then they think Keelan Rutledge he's a rookie, but they think he's going to be that type of guy. Look, with their defenses, I see where you're saying, or they're saying Houston and Denver, but listen, healthy Lamar, healthy Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they may not have Cincinnati may not have everything, although they invested big time in that defense. Yeah. That D-line should be night and day better.
Try to fix their run game, too, which was their two big issues.
So I'm not ruling those two franchises out or us to make a run in the AFC, but I don't think it's Houston's or Denver's just to run away with it. Now, granted, their defenses give them that. They're really good defense.
When you have one of those top defenses, and that's why I'm sure on the other side he'd probably still have Seattle, the Rams, those defenses that just kind of when you have that defense that can keep you from having to score a lot of points all the time, you've seen people trend towards picking those.
What did the Rams do? They improved their defense first in the secondary.
That was their issue.
I mean, Trent McDuffie's and Watkins. Those guys are great pickups for the secondary. And then you grab one of the greatest defensive ends. When he's done, will be one of the greatest of all time.
Yep. Yeah. All right, we have lunch to give away. I have free lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 4, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Make sure you grab that peach milkshake, too. It's only here for this summer, made with real peaches, and that ice stream dessert from Chick-fil-A. Absolutely delicious and refreshing for how hot it is right now. We're in that full-on summer heat of Florida, so make sure you grab one of those with your free lunch. Let's say caller number 4, and then we'll hit break right now and talk some more Jaguars on the other side coming up here on Helmets and Heels.
250 years ago, it started with an idea. Today, it lives in all of us. I'm Taylor Dahl. Here's to the next 250. Stronger, united, and always moving forward. 1010XL.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Peaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at peachesdermatology.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
When you want to know what's happening in Gainesville, roll with the Gator Report. I'm Joe C. Listen for updates on Florida Gator athletics several times a week on 1010XL. Built by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Go, Gator!
Get ready for the biggest 4th of July in a generation at Superior Fireworks. Shop by July 2nd to beat huge last-minute crowds on Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park and online at superiorfireworks.com/radio.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trusted company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
Tom McMahon is here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here. Don't wait for the first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems when high winds come around. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to backyards. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
I'm Jared Justice with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Former Florida Gators star Elijah Martin has agreed to a 2-year, $4.8 million deal to return to the Toronto Raptors. Free agent guard Devin Carter has agreed to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal to stay with the Orlando Magic. FSU's Wes Mendez was named the ACC Scholar Athlete of the Year for baseball. Hacker will be at Twin Peaks tonight for the USA-Bosnia match. 1010XL has World Cup updates all day. It's 80 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Tom McManus is here, Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here. Only about 5 hours now until USA kicks off against Bosnia. And so that's going to be really exciting. You just hear Jared Justice talk about the watch party / live broadcast of Hacker After Dark. He will be at Twin Peaks, so swing by there. Say hello to Hacker, drink some beer, eat some wings, and watch USA. I feel like it sounds like a good time to be.
Food, drink, and soccer.
Can't beat that.
Let's go. It's summertime.
I know.
It's summertime.
Very summertime.
And it's 4th of July week, so, tell the boss you're taking a ride for a couple days.
Yeah. Most people have long weekends anyways coming up. So
yeah, get
that's
Friday off, which is a good thing.
Tommy, you brought up an interesting topic in the last couple days. You and I were talking about it, and you mentioned the late round draft picks by the Jaguars and the more successful ones that we've seen here in Jacksonville, some of those being on this roster now. And so you have a list of those, but so I want to get through some of those that you think kind of stand out, anything that stands out to you when it comes to those. But I also would want to just link, and I have a list of the more recent ones, and that are on this current roster, and we can get into some of those and talk about the ones that we think will can make the more pivotal roles on this team as we go into this next year or two. But start with yours. Any names that really pop out with those? And we did you aim around the rounds 5, 6, 7? Is that where you were going?
I went 5, 6, 7. Then I even looked at free agent, and the way I just called them notables. Like you're like, oh yeah, I remember him. He's a good player. You know, that kind of thing. Like throw out Corey Grant, free agent, 2017, who had a great year, right? He was had a great play against Pittsburgh in the playoffs, big touchdown. You're like, I remember Corey Grant.
That's
those
a name that sticks out.
But I too, and I'm sure we have the same names of today's players.
Yeah.
You mentioned early in the show we were talking about what are you most confident? Well,
that will continue.
Yeah. I mean, Cam, Logan, and Ross, all late round draft picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Ross, obviously a free agent, so even more pretty cool.
Yeah.
The number one long snapper in the entire nation is a free agent.
Yeah.
Not drafted. coming out of college.
And then Cam
Pretty
and Logan,
impressive.
both 7th rounders, 2024 and 2018 for those two guys.
Exactly. All right, so let me throw some names. I included a couple 4th rounders just because they were great players. But let's throw out a few if we should. Rob Meyer, to me, is probably one of the best late round draft picks that the Jacksonville Jaguars have ever made. He was a extremely good defensive end, always solid, always tough against the run, would give you some sacks, give you some pressure. He'd start, he'd come off the bench. He was absolutely incredible. In my opinion, one of the best.
He was here for quite a
late
bit,
round.
too.
He was.
Yeah.
He was a very, very good player. And you know that guy's got over. Last time I talked to him, which was 5 years ago at the alumni thing, the Jaguar. He's done over 1,000 skydiving jumps.
Wow.
Big dude falling from the sky. I'm like, really?
No, thank you.
No,
that's
but
not
good
one
for
thing
him.
that I want to do.
One of our
21 and a half sacks in his career. I was just looking in 2005, he had 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss that season he had. And then you talk about even those next few years in Jacksonville, 5 sacks, 4 sacks, 2 sacks, and around 7 tackles for loss each of those years.
Yeah, he was, listen, he was a solid player. Wasn't like a superstar, but you talk about a grunt, a glue, a piece that you got to have. Rob Meyer was that. And more. I'll throw a name at. He didn't last very long, but one stat I noticed, which I didn't know. I know he had 10 sacks in 1 year. Bobby McCray out of Florida, 7th rounder.
Oh, yeah.
22 sacks in 29 starts.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. And then he went over to New Orleans and nothing really happened. I don't think after that. Got paid. Good for him. But, 22 sacks in 29 starts as a Jaguar. I thought that was interesting. How about Danny Clark? He took over 55 after me. Danny Clark was a great line. See, this is what I'm talking about. Your reaction was how I was reacting when I was looking
that you
at
don't
the
remember.
list. Yeah, you just don't. I mean, you remember, but you don't think about him a lot. You're like, Danny Clark, man.
And you can't remember sometimes where they were drafted or how late they were drafted or if they were free agents. Sometimes it starts to blur together at certain points with that because he was here from 2000 to 2003. I had just moved back to Jacksonville in 1999, I think. So that was right before I got back here. But he was played multiple linebacker spots. He'd play kind of all over.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was fantastic. Speaking of linebackers, I mean, Telvin Smith in the 5th round.
That
5th round.
It's a devastating story because he was such a good football player.
Unbelievable.
And I remember there was a period when I first started interning here at 1010 and working here at 1010, Telvin would come on every week and talk.
I remember.
And he was such a cool guy, was super nice. He would come in here every week, no issue, and talk to the guys for segment, 2 segment, 3 segments sometimes. And he was such a good football player. And that's one of the more unfortunate stories that you hate to hear, the trajectory of how it goes off the football field.
No doubt.
When it comes to that.
No doubt. He was, he was a really good one. The speed, the tenaciousness. He was vicious. He could make plays in the pass game. He was wicked good, no doubt about it. How about, God rest his soul, Uche Nwaneri in the 5th round? Wow. Him and Naoli as guards. Remember those beasts with Meester in the middle? Holy cow, that was a great offensive line. Wouldn't you? They were maulers. They were absolute maulers who could move.
Yeah.
They could move. They were absolutely fantastic. I wrote down, you're gonna laugh, but he caught the only touchdown pass in the Bills playoff game when Bortles was the quarterback. Ben Koyak.
Oh, my goodness.
Was a late-round draft pick.
That
Ben Koyak, 1 catch, I think, for a touchdown. Gardner Minshew in the 6th round. I remember him.
Yeah.
How about DT? Daniel Thomas, 5th round.
DT was one of those guys that every single summer, I feel like throughout camp, would be like, this is the year DT's going to break out. Every single year, it felt like that.
Yeah, totally. Of course, our good friend Josh Scobie, he's 5th round. He's the man. Big Sofa, who I see a lot. Damon Jones in the 5th round. Listen, if that guy didn't hurt his knee, he was a beat. I mean, he was a big tight end.
He's a massive human.
And could run. He run. The knee injury hurt him like it does for a lot of us. John Wade, who I just spent time with, a 5th rounder, played a lot of snaps. A lot of snaps for the Jags as our starting center. Rashad Jennings. The running back, 7th rounder. Marlon McCree, another 7th rounder.
Wow.
I mean, there's guys like, and we've got ones, of course, for today. I looked at the free agents. Let me throw this at you. Tyler Shatley was a free agent.
Oh, yeah. Shatley.
And the best, you know what?
Agent, there was a stretch of time where they were pulling in some really good free agents into Jacksonville.
And giving them a chance, no question about it. I'll never forget, they used to let us, you could walk around the field. You could, literally be right there. So I brought Avery and my father-in-law. It was no big deal. You just go down and watch them. And Shatley's doing a drill. And Linder goes, "Good beep, Shat." So me and Avery, even today, we're like, "Hey, good beep, Shat." You know what I mean? It's like present tense and past tense. Just hilarious. But he was quite the player, no doubt about that. Alan Hearns, really good wide receiver. Yeah. If he didn't get hurt, he was good, man. I liked him a lot.
When you go back, that's one of the rosters. When you go back and you look at the Jaguars roster of 2017 and how it was built, it's honestly really fascinating to go back and look at the combination of guys they brought in through free agency. Some of those young guys, but everybody just had career years that year. When you talk about a Hearns, when you talk about obviously a Telvin and Miles Jack and Barry Church and all of those guys just had insane seasons all at one time, and it clicked perfectly in that 2017
season. You know who helped build that team? TC.
Oh, yeah.
For the record. Yeah. How about Montel Owens, one of the greatest special teamers that donned the pads for the Jags? Take Hacker's little thing
was
there.
Was he seventh, too?
He was a free agent.
Oh, okay.
Non-drafted. Okay. Of course, James Robinson. I mean, come on.
There's people on the text line almost every single day that are like, bring James Robinson back because he's been playing in the UFL and he looks like he's playing well. Now, we'll see the competition level of that. But almost every single day we get about one text that's like, maybe they should call James Robinson.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How about R.B. Jones? Remember R.B.? 8-year career. Played a lot with the Jags. So, just a good...
It's interesting to see those, and that's what I want to... On the other side, I want to go through the ones on this current roster, those 5th, 6th, 7th round guys mainly that are on this roster right now, and get your thoughts on who you think is going to make the most impact. It doesn't have to be this year. Sometimes it takes a year or two, but I do think some of these guys can play really impactful roles on this offense and defense in the next couple years here in Jacksonville. So we'll talk about those coming up on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This World Cup soccer update is laced up by Valvoline Instant Oil Changes and Houston's Meats.
Westwood One Sports presents this World Soccer Update, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes bundling home and auto easy. Learn more at progressive.com. In the round of 32 at the World Cup, England trailed most of the way to DR Congo and then pulled out a thrilling victory. Harry Kane scores twice in 11 minutes, the game winner in the 86th minute. The final score, England 2, DR Congo 1. England will play Mexico in the round of 16. Next game up today is Belgium versus Senegal, 4 p.m. Eastern in Seattle. The winner of that match will face the winner of our nightcap in the next round. That's the U.S. men's national team versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. 8 p.m. Eastern start in Santa Clara. 4th all-time meeting between the two sides. The USA leads 3 wins, no losses, and 1 draw. I'm Phil Constantino, Westwood One Sports.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. It's the little things like a peach milkshake on a warm day that make summer sweet. And now you can head to your local Chick-fil-A and enjoy a favorite summer treat again. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, this refreshing milkshake features Chick-fil-A ice cream and peaches. It's the perfect cold treat to enjoy outside on a warm day or with friends and family after dinner. And it's here for just a limited time, so swing by your local Chick-fil-A and treat yourself today.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Installed by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
John Summerall already receiving plenty of accolades for his 2027 recruiting class, and now starting to build into 2028. The Gators head coach picking up a pledge from four-star wide receiver Armani Strong, choosing Florida over USC, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Miami. 24 commits so far for next year's recruiting class, and now Summerall's first four-star for the following season. The Gators suit up for fall practice at the end of July.
Jeff Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup, and that's why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. If you want it done right, the first time, get a quote today. Thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Calling all artists. The Jaguars Game Day Poster Series is back, and we're looking for bold, original artists to bring the energy to game days at the bank. Submit your portfolio for a chance to showcase your talent and design a limited edition Jaguars Game Day poster. Don't miss out. Be part of Duval Designs by visiting jaguars.com/Duval Designs.
World Cup soccer means every goal, every save, and every minute matters more. I'm JJ LaSelva from The Franchi Show. Join me on the 1010XL Soccer Show podcast with analysis of Team USA and all the drama from the FIFA World Cup, squared up by Twin Peaks.
Jacksonville, this is your club. Sporting Jacks is proudly representing the First Coast in the USL Championship, bringing professional soccer and unforgettable match day experience to Hodges Stadium. Feel the energy of professional soccer as Sporting Jacks continues to build something special on the First Coast. Join us as Sporting Jacks continues its historic inaugural season. Get tickets today at sportingjacks.com or call 904-863-KICK. Pro Soccer, Pro Jacks.
Truck accidents can happen and can be devastating. Founded in Jacksonville, Edwards & Raggets is proud to serve the 904. If you've been seriously injured in a truck accident, protect yourself and your family by understanding your rights and legal options. Our attorneys are experienced in handling complex truck cases and can guide you through this. No fees unless you recover damages. Call 904-INJURED or visit 904injured.com.
Edwards & Raggets, offices Jacksonville.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
This is a fun song. Just makes me want to bop around a little bit. I don't know what it is, but it got us
RT's
both
been on
moving
it,
a
man.
little bit.
Yesterday felt like a little loungy, cool, jazzy type, laid back kind of, or even
Today's
by
like
the
party
pool with a little
America.
low hip hop.
Do you come in here with themes, RJ?
You thinking? You're not thinking it out pregame, man?
And I sometimes will think about it. A lot of times I understand. I think by now the type of music, you guys have like go-tos. And so I now just try to expand on those songs.
Yeah.
Essentially. So if I'm like, if there's like an upbeat song, it's like, oh, well, if they like that and if there's, having that on the Spotify playlist, then let me just kind of add this or, try this out. So,
Well,
that's
you're
always
doing
kind of
good,
been,
man.
my
I love it.
I do love it. I love music. I love new music. That's
All
one of my
kinds of
favorite
music,
things
yeah.
about my Spotify. So Spotify
Okay.
has the one setting on it to where you
Mhm.
can. So I have my liked playlist. I'll add. Anytime I hear a song I like, I'll add it to my liked. And I do have separate playlists for different things, but my liked is just a million songs that are no genre, no anything. It's just everything. But there's a special button in there. It's not like Magic Shuffle or something like that.
Okay.
Where you can put that on. And so it'll play your songs in your playlist, but it also expands it to songs or artists similar to the ones
Right.
you have
Love
in your
that.
liked.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love that because
Yeah.
it'll be all the time. Like I'll just have it playing in the background when I'm cleaning or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I really like the song.
Yeah.
And run over to my phone and add it to my liked. And then it's a part of my
different.
rotation.
Like when I'm doing computer work, I sit at a little counter in the kitchen. I like different kind of music.
Mhm.
You know what I was listening to this morning?
What was it?
Olivia Dean.
Oh.
Her voice is unbelievable.
She's fantastic.
And I'm
yeah.
just like my kids and my wife. I'm like, who's that? They're like Olivia Dean. I'm like, wow, that voice.
Yeah.
And then Ella Langley's voice is
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
I mean,
People love
anyway,
her
so
right
just
now.
kind of, and then
Yeah,
you go to the
different
gym and I
vibes.
crank up.
Yeah,
you know,
something a little different.
I got a playlist called Hustle, and it's all like you'd want to run or run through a wall through, listening to it.
I know
so
I would.
it's
People would
awesome.
be surprised sometimes at my playlist at how heavy some of the
I'm
stuff.
surprised sometimes, there, Taylor.
But then I'll also listen to like Justin Bieber on the other side. That's just it is what it is. All right, Tommy, let's look at some of these young guys that are on the team right now, the later round picks when it comes to this Jaguars roster and the guys that we think can or will or maybe have already started on that trajectory of being players that can play pivotal roles on this team. And so you mentioned a lot that we went through, especially that 2017 team, a lot of free agents and later round picks that were big parts of how that team was successful. And so it does feel like there's guys right now. And so you go through from 2018 to 2026, for example, you start with Logan Cook in 2018.
Yeah.
We talked about special teams. So him and Cam Little and Ross are some of the more obvious ones when it comes to free agents and then 2 7th round picks. But in 2022, they got Buster Brown. In 2023, Antonio Johnson, Parker, and Braswell were all late round picks. In 2025, you have, and these are where you have some to be determined, I think. But I do think you may categorize some of these guys and the potential to play roles. And so McLeod is one of those, Rayon Lane, Monheim, LeQuint, and then Koziel, Durfee, and Parker Hughes this year. I think all of those guys are names that we've talked about quite a bit. Some of those in positions that we're kind of questioning right now of what that position group really looks like. So of those guys, I think the obvious one, Buster Brown, we know he just got a contract this offseason. Out of Devin Lloyd, ETN, and Buster, they kept Buster Brown. That shows how much they wanted to keep him on that roster. So that's an obvious one. I think Antonio Johnson, it looks like they should. They've said they're in talks and want to get a contract with Antonio Johnson. So that's another one. Parker Washington being another one of those. Braswell, I think, got a contract extension this offseason too. So
they
all of
love
those
him.
guys,
I
they
know
love
that. I
Braswell.
mean, he keeps hanging around. That's for sure.
So all of those guys, I think you're putting into they have roles on this, whether it's special teams, obviously the offense, and then the defense for Antonio Johnson and Buster Brown. But what about those other guys, Tommy? When you're talking about a McLeod, a Lane, a Monheim, LeQuint, Koziel, Durfee, Parker Hughes, any of those guys to you really stand out that this year you feel like can really make a mark on this team?
Yeah, well, LeQuint for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. By the way, I'm going to throw in Yasir Abdullah too because he's still here.
Yep.
Any guys that can survive a coaching change, they got something. That's why they're here. I think Durfee's a really impressive prospect. I just think his natural takeoff. He's got some bend. He's got some length. He's really athletic. You got to see it in pads, and whatnot. But look, when we interviewed his guy out there in the Seattle Wire, the Washington Wire, Husky Wire, he's like, look, if the kid didn't get injured, who knows what he'd have been able to do? Because he is really fantastic when he's healthy. Koziel is another one. Like, I think, I don't know, you watch that kid run without any pads, like just run and catch the football. You're like, okay, he's an athlete. You can see 6'7", he's tall, like. You could see that they can utilize him somehow. So I think those guys are going to be huge. Look,
now, what about Parker Hughes? How do you feel?
I want to see him more. I think special teams he'll be great. Listen, if he runs a 4-3-4-4, you want to see him on special teams. But I got to see. It's a different game. You know, like how do you read? How do you key? How do you get off blocks? Listen, if it's a sweep, I'm assuming you can outrun the center to not get to you. But if they come right at you, can you take those guys on and shed them and get rid of them and try to plug up the hole or whatnot? But his athleticism definitely stands out in Parker Hughes. So we'll see what he can do. Let's not forget Strigow and B.J. Green, because they were free agents last year. They could play significant roles. B.J. Green the second. They could play significant roles. And I'm looking to see both of them. Definitely, but Strigow, I want to see BJ in his role because I think he's got natural pass rush ability. His bend comes naturally. When he bends around the corner, you can tell it's not awkward. It's very smooth. Strigow, to me, and I know it's probably because the same number, but him and Rob Meyer have Rob's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, but a little bit of the same, workman, blue collar, take the lunch pail to work. I'm going to, work my butt off. I'm going to be physical. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to surprise you with pass rush ability. You're going to think I'm just this run stuffing plug. I'm much more than that. You could play me inside. You could play me outside. I think Strigow's got an interesting second year ahead of him.
Yeah. And I think that the defensive side of the ball, I think, has a lot of pieces that are fascinating, because I do think the conversation in the linebacker room in general is going to be something we're going to talk a lot about, because one of the biggest topics this offseason was Devin Lloyd and how do you replace Devin Lloyd and what he did this last season. And so we talk about several different ways we feel like that may look. And when it comes to adding pass rush from some of these guys, we talked about where exactly do they play Dennis Gardeck, because they did play him multiple spots last year. So what does that look like with a Gardeck? And then what does that mean for a BJ Green and Strigow? And then you have a Durfee who they just drafted. And in the middle, when you talk about an Albert Regis, obviously third round, so not a late round guy. But when you talk about somebody like that, how much are you seeing in Albert Regis early in the season? And so some of that stuff, I think it's going to be really cool to watch this defense and how Coach Camp kind of fits all these pieces together.
Look, I want to see Regis in pads. I mean, he's really big on his lower half. Not that, I mean, he's a big guy, but he's not like a massive type human being, but he's quick. You can tell he's pretty flexible, and he can move. So let's see and he looks powerful from the waist down. Look, you just got to anchor. If you can get your feet in the turf, you can anchor, and then you can extend your arms. You can hold your own for the most part.
Now, you didn't mention either when it comes to Monheim being a part of that. Is that just because you feel like Hainsey, that's just he's earned that center position, or do you just have not seen enough from Monheim?
I don't think Monheim threatens the starting position yet. I mean, now granted, you've only seen a small dose.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think, I would have thought maybe they brought in another competitive center or tried one of the guards at center. They may still, maybe. I don't know. And Monheim's fine. I think he's fine. I don't know. I think Hainsey's better at this time, and I'd feel more confident and comfortable if Robert Hainsey is my center, if that's my two choices right now.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing the guards is going to be, when we're talking about the offensive line, the guard position is going to be one of the more interesting ones in camp, just because of Pregnon. Obviously, you talk about that. You talk about a Wyatt Milam and Makari, and what that dynamic looks like, who wins out those battles, is something we're going to be paying a lot of attention to.
I mean, listen, they clearly like Patrick McCarry because he was injured last year, and then they restructured the deal to help them out to keep him here. So that's going to be interesting. Who can unseat the veteran? Because for the record, he looks like he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
We were talking.
How much was it the back last year? And we'll get that answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were goofing around on our way in, like, all right, let's go. That's how he's feeling.
Yeah.
You can tell, man. He looks healthy. He looks strong. He looks quick. It's like when I went to the New Orleans Saints, my dad's like, "Look, you're playing with men now. They ain't playing with college boys anymore. These are men. You're trying to take their job. You're trying to take their they don't want to go home and tell their wife they got benched. They don't want to go home and tell their family they got cut. Like this is life or death here. You got to take it. So I've only brought that up because that, to me, that's Patrick McCarry. Like, hey man. Look at me. I'm ready. I'm just as big. I'm just as strong. I feel healthy. Don't count me out yet.
Yeah. I mean, and he's been in the league for a while, obviously, coming from Baltimore. And Baltimore fans didn't seem upset when he left. He had some penalty issues there, and that was one of the things they kind of hung their hat on. But it does how much of last year some of the issues was the back, because that is a hard thing to play the offensive line through when you're dealing with that sort of back injury. So it'll be a fascinating storyline. I also think that a lot of people were excited about that Pregnon pick, because everyone was expecting Emmanuel Pregnon to go quite a bit higher than where the Jaguars were able to get. So how quickly does he get on the field? I think there would be a lot of people, honestly, a little bit happy if Pregnon's out there just because that draft pick means you hit on it.
Pregnon gets on the field because you just can't have him off the field because he's powerful and nimble, and that's what you want out of your guards in this type of offense, you know. And if he fits, it's not that we just can't keep you off the field.
You got to put your best five out there and what fits the type of linemen that you need, and we talked about those ones that can move but also being physical at the same time.
I will just say, look, and I'm not a defendant of Patrick McCary. I know that he did grade out poorly at times, but if we're going to give a little benefit of the doubt to Trayvon and to Eric, I mean, a back's hard. A back is really hard to play through, so I'm going to give a little bit of that to him as well.
Yep, so with training camp, I mean, we have less than a month until that kicks off, so it'll be really fun to kind of see some of these things, get them back out on the field and some of these battles that we will see. But we got the golden moment on the other side, so we will do that. And I have a question for you, Tommy, as someone from the text line sent in. So we'll get to both of those things on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels.
Your turn is next. Call it, text it, drop it in the chat. If you've got something to say, holler at Hacker. Monday nights from 8 to 10 on 1010XL, starting July 6th.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hacker here. 4th of July week is here, which means America's celebrating the way it should. Fireworks, cookouts, and cold drinks. But I want to know this. Did you take Awaken 180 up on Lose 40 by the 4th? Because people did. Listeners did. Greg and Sales did. And the guy is just a few pounds away from dropping 40. That's not a commercial number. That's a walk into the cookout and people start asking questions number. I know the feeling. I lost 120 pounds with Awaken 180. My first 40 came off in just weeks. And I dropped all my prescription medication as well. So if you missed the deadline, fine. Don't go hide behind a paper plate and call it a year. Pick the next one. August, Labor Day, your beach trip, whatever gets you moving. Awaken 180 gives you the food, the plan, the coaching, and the support to actually finish the job. Have questions? Ask them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, now I'm a little hungry because we were talking about ribeyes. I love a ribeye, and we were both talking about how we make and cook our steaks, and it's just sometimes easy. I'll go home, make a ribeye and a salad, and that's dinner. And it's just the perfect amount of food for me. I was telling you, I don't have to put a ton of seasoning on a ribeye. That's one of my favorite things. Just a little butter in the pan, salt, pepper, and I have like one of the cast iron skillets, so you get that good sear on each side. And I might be doing another steak tonight.
Yeah, it was tasty last night. We had rehearsal last night, Dad bods, and then riding home. I'm like, well, nobody's home. I don't know. I didn't feel like sitting by myself. Sometimes I do. I do like going. Like, I'll go to the sushi bar, sit right at the sushi bar and hang out. And I don't care. I can talk to myself for an hour and a half. And
how many rolls can you eat?
I don't know, 3 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
Not a massive amount, you know. But I like the sake.
Yeah, me too.
The sake's good. But yeah, I do like some bread with that steak and salad. So it was a tasty one last night. I like the pan seared and then throw it in the oven for a few minutes. That's good stuff.
So
Man. Good protein too.
Oh yeah, delicious. We got a question on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures and from 3525. And said, would you give Parker the Christian Kirk deal? Same exact deal from the Jags. So if you don't remember what that looked like, it was 4 years, $72 million, which is $18 a year, and $20 million guaranteed. I say yes immediately because I've already said on here I think Parker actually probably deserves more than that. I feel like if you're only giving Parker 17, 18, you're lowballing him a little bit, honestly, with some of these recent contracts that come out. But everybody I'm hearing says that this range, that 18, seems like what may make sense for Parker Washington and the type of role he plays on the offense.
I think if he would sign an $18 million a year deal, they'd be very happy with that, you know, and I think he'd be happy enough. I mean, again, he's young enough to where he's going to get it again if he stays healthy and can perform. I think what people do forget about him is his punt return capabilities. He's one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
And then you add what he did last year, and you're remember, what are you paying for? You're paying for the future, right? And he's going to be a free agent after next year. So you have to decide, okay, do we want to make sure we keep him because we feel he's ascending and he will for the next 3 or 4 years and maybe longer. So we want to get him signed, or you don't, or you can't find an agreement, and then he's taking the risk too.
Yeah.
I mean, his risk is getting hurt. And then, you may have an insurance policy that'll help you out, but you're not going to get the contract that you would probably have gotten, or at least close to that. So it's a little cat and mouse game, but if he accepted the 18, I mean, God bless him. That's a great contract.
Yeah.
I mean, look, what's the defense? How long did he do it for? Take out the punt return. Just take out the weapon as an offer. What did he do last year? Yeah. He had like 5 really good games, 4 in a row at the end. He was averaging 115 yards or something like that a game. He was making plays. He was big. He was great. But can he do that for a year?
Yeah.
And how much do we need him to do? So I think, Dan, to answer that question, that's near the Jacoby deal, 3-year, $20 million a year.
Yeah.
So somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I'd probably want more than Kobe.
Yeah.
I mean, than Jacoby. Sorry. Yeah, I'd probably want a little bit more. Maybe that 21 mil. But whatever. If it's 18, it's 18, and you can sit there and say, hey, you're still young enough. That's life-changing money if you do it right. You're never going to have to worry about anything. Your kids probably won't have to worry about anything. I don't know about the grandkids. Listen, I'm one of those that I'm not building for generations. I'm ready to help my kids out. You know what I mean? Maybe the grandkids. Beyond that, I don't know. I'm not leaving
generations to come.
Yeah, I'm not leaving generational wealth for the some McManus, 18 down the road that I'll never even meet. You know what I'm saying? But
It's an interesting question because also that contract was 4 years ago too. So it's the value of receiving contracts have gone up. So if Christian Kirk got 18, and you look at those numbers, so Christian Kirk before he came to Jacksonville was coming off of a season where he had almost just shy of 1,000 yards. He had 982 yards and 5 touchdowns that season before. What you saw from Christian Kirk, and this is what I also think we've seen from Parker Washington, maybe not quite to the extreme, because I do think that you have to put in a little bit the play callers and some of the other things that have been going around, going on with the offenses. And at that point in time, that the Arizona offenses were, this is Kyler Murray's best seasons for some of these. And so Parker Washington or Christian Kirk, the year before, so 982 in the 5, but the buildup is what kind of seems like it is a bit similar. So 590 his first year with 3 touchdowns, 709 with 31 touchdowns. In his third year, he got injured, but he had 621 yards and 6 touchdowns. Then he had in his 4th season that 982 and 5, and then he comes to Jacksonville and has over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. So if you look at Parker Washington,
was that 1 year?
No, for the 1,100.
The 1,100, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, in 2022 he had 1,108 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then it went to 787 and 3 the next year, and 379 and 1, and then he went to Houston where he had 239 and 1. But Parker Washington, and this is what I'm saying, the buildup and what he was asked to do, he had 16 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns his rookie season.
Yep.
The next year, that increased to 32 receptions, 390, and 3 touchdowns. The next year, that increased to 58, 847, and 5 this last year. So the trajectory is pretty similar to what we saw of Christian Kirk, where every year the receptions got a little higher, the yardage got higher, the touchdowns got higher. When you talk about the yards per reception, that's with Christian, it was always around 10, 11, 12. With Parker, the first 2 years, the first year was 8.3, but the last 2 seasons, it was 12.2 and 14.6.
Right.
So I do think we're seeing, and to your point, what you just said, you're paying him for what you're projecting that to be. So if you're projecting that Parker's going to continue to develop in those numbers, 130, 390, 847, you would be expecting 900, 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
The difference is, what is this offense? How do you spread the ball? How evenly are we going to see some of these targets, receptions go out? But that's kind of the expectations, and that's been this gradual incline we've seen with Parker Washington here.
Yeah, and he's almost doubled his production every year. And in the receiving, aspect of it, maybe not touchdowns, but 24, he had 3 last year, he had 5. You throw in the punt returns where he's returning. So that's what look, when you think about his stats last year, the 58 for 847 at 14.6 a clip, really didn't get going until later in the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was just kind of chipping away here and there, making a play here or there, and then it ripped it off. Yeah. That's a good thing for the offense that you have that flexibility. So maybe all the guys, meaning Brian, Jacoby, and Parker, are going to be around that 900 a grand, maybe 6, 7. So that's how we're going to spread it around. Run a hot hand here or there. Go to the next guy if that guy gets covered. It's a nice flexibility to have.
But you can't, and that's what you don't want that to look like. Oh, okay. Well, Parker didn't have as good of a season because he only had 700 or 800 yards, because I think what this offense could look like is going to be a little bit different. And I do think that has to be what Parker takes into account too, because if you are betting on yourself, if he has the contract before the season, you make your money and you're good. But if you go into this season and you're trying to prove something, what does that look like for you on this offense with so many weapons and, multiple tight ends being added and all of that? So a good question from the text line right there when it comes to some of the correlations that we've seen between these wide receiver contracts. So we'll say hello. We'll wrap things up on the other side, and we'll say hello to the Frangie show, and then now getting closer and closer to this USA game. So we'll chat about that a little bit too, coming up on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios, brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Kicking here, or maybe you should call me Dreamfinders Danny. Look what Dreamfinders is doing again, an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Look no further, folks. I've found the best wings in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie here. Bono's Barbecue now has the best wings, and my new go-to wing flavors are garlic parm and lemon pepper. Nothing cools you down this summer like their new strawberry lemonade. So head to Bono's today and get 6 wings and a side for $10.99 or a 10-wing basket for just $15.99. But hurry, this deal ends July 31st. To find a Bono's near you, head to bonosbarbecue.com. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, I know how awful it is to get injured out there, but never due to someone else's negligence like many of you. Tommy Mack here. If this speaks to you directly, you got to check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. Why? Because they win. All they do is win. Over $30 billion recovered for a ton of clients. But guess what? They don't get a single dime unless you do. That's right. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, you get paid. Dial pound law on your cell or check out forthepeople.com.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry-fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Peaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at peachesdermatology.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Joe C. here. Want to win pizza from Tony D's, wings from Mr. Chubby's, or tacos from Taco Lou? How about chocolate from Peterbrook? All you have to do is tell us more about you by filling out the 1010 listener survey at 1010xl.com. What kind of vehicle do you drive? Are you a business owner? What part of 1010XL do you like the most? We want to get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010xl.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter? I came right over.
It's my water, Jason. Smell this.
Yeesh.
That came out of my tap, Jason. I'm worried there's a lot more in there than just H and 2 and O.
Well, yeah. In Jacksonville, we have some of the hardest water in Florida. There's calcium carbonate in there and magnesium sulfate and...
I'm sorry, calcium... what now?
It's the same stuff that makes those cool stalactites in caves.
Well, it's making my shower all powdery and my taps all crusty and caves make me claustrophobic.
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing. And our water treatment experts will do a free water quality test. We'll check for minerals, bacteria, anything that might make your water smelly or damage your plumbing or appliances.
And if it's bad, you can fix it?
Your glasses will come out cleaner, your shampoo will lather better.
I like a good lather, Jason.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Winding down here on Helmets and Heels. Tom McMahon is here, Taylor Dahl here, and RJ Saunders. Lauren Brooks will return tomorrow. getting closer and closer to USA versus Bosnia. A reminder for everyone, if you haven't heard, that Hacker will be out there live at Twin Peaks for a live broadcast / watch party show for the USA game. So go say hello to Hacker and enjoy some Twin Peaks food, wings, all of that. They sponsor JJ's podcast, and so he'll be also doing the immediate instant reaction after the game too, win or lose. So hopefully we're talking about a win. But Tommy, I saw this interesting. We were talking about Cam Little a little bit when we mentioned the late round picks that have been successful. Logan and Cam being those late round picks, but then obviously Ross being a free agent, and 3 of the better special teams players in the entire NFL. So the NFL's long field goal environment has completely changed, this tweet says. Made 55-plus yard field goals by the NFL season. So they go from 2,000 to this last season of the number of field goals made that were 55-plus. In 2001.
Yeah, I was going to say.
1 field goal.
Yeah.
3, so I'll just go. So from 2000 to current. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 8, 6. And then you start to see this shift up in 2010. 11, 13, 17, 12, 15, 14, 15. Then another shift back in 2017, 26, 27, 26, 28. Starting in 2022, 49, 46, and 55 the last 3 years.
I mean, look,
55-plus yard
50 used to be like, oh my gosh, but now it's like, if you don't make 50.
Yeah, you're like, you can't make that.
It's almost like completion percentage. It used to be 60 was great, then it became 65.
Now all
and
of a sudden, 70% is
70, right?
Yeah. All right, let's say hello to Hayes Carline.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hello, Hayes. Are you USA ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. We're about 4 hours away. Can't wait. Yeah.
There's been some crazy ones so far in this knockout round. We've seen penalty kick games. We've seen England losing for most of the time, then coming back and winning with Harry Kane goals late. And so it'll be an exciting one tonight. Are you watching at home?
I'm not going to watch at home, but we're going to watch at like a friend's house. So we'll be at like not a party, but
gathering,
in a little environment.
We're old, so we don't.
It's not a ranger.
Exactly. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, JJ will give us his latest breakdown as we embark upon another Frangie show. But I mean, it's got a chance to be a really fun night. I mean, and to see if they're favored. I think it's the first time they've been favored in the knockout round ever.
Oh wow!
So it's pretty wild to think where they're at. So
also our standards, we need to higher our standards.
Yeah, really. Well, that's sort of the goal. Like, you try to say to people, like, they're not going to win this thing.
Yeah.
But like, if they can just like get to the quarterfinals, like that would be so meaningful for just the push of soccer, particularly for the kids that'll be watching. That may, be like, this is what I want to do, And so anyway, it'll be it feels like, as an outsider, in terms of not being a avid soccer fan, that this is sort of a crossroads game for the program. Like, if you win this game, you get millions of dollars in goodwill and really a huge boost for future generations to come that might be the players that can grow up to be the ones that push you even deeper into this tournament. And if you lose tonight, then it's been a nice run, I'd say, but it's gonna, I think, have an air of disappointment. So we'll certainly look forward to talking about that coming up on the Frangie Show. We'll talk some Jaguars college football as well. So should be a lot of fun.
I saw the game is coming out. The college football
that's right.
game is coming out.
I used to be so addicted to that thing.
There's a lot of guys that are counting down the minutes right now.
I still have the game from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rare that I'll turn it on.
Yeah, right.
But I do still have it.
Yeah. I saw some pictures of the swamp from the game. And the swamp is obviously a crazy place anyways on game day, but the game does a really good job of just kind of portraying how crazy the swamp can get on Saturdays.
It's amazing, what they can do.
Yeah.
With video games now. I mean, my son plays, and it's...
You're like, is this a movie?
It's incredible. I'm used to double dribble and Tecmo Bowl and the advancements that they've made. It's just spectacular. So all that coming coming up on the Frangie Show.
Thanks, Hayes and
Thank
Joy.
you.
Beautiful.
All right, well, that does it for us. Tommy, you are off for the rest of the week. Lauren Brooks will be back tomorrow. So everybody enjoy the USA game tonight. Hopefully we are talking about a win as JJ joins us tomorrow. But that does it for us on Helmets and Heels. Tune in tomorrow and stay tuned for the Frangie Show coming up next on 1010XL.